because of inflation, because of the prices of all these commodities, because come in second. Please join us. This way. No. We are very happy to welcome Dr. Sake Sairajanath, who is the observer from the AICC for the Haath Se Haath Jodo campaign. He is a former president of the Andhra Pradesh Congress and a former minister and the former AICC secretary in charge of Karnataka. So, basically, when you think about the issues related to the K-shaped recovery, that K-shape, you will see that the demand for SUVs has gone up. The demand for two-wheelers has gone down because the poor cannot afford, or the people, middle class even, cannot afford it anymore. We will see in the coming week when the budget is released whether the government pays any attention to the sufferings of the middle classes and the poor. Now, that K-shaped recovery, who has benefited? The rich in India have benefited, and just the last week we had the release of something called the Oxfam Inequality Report. Earlier last year, the Prime Minister's Economic Council had also issued a report on inequality, and the thing that they show us is that about 6% of India's population controls more than 50% of the nation's wealth. The remaining 50% of the nation's wealth is held by another chunk of the population, and the vast majority of the public owns only a small fraction of India's wealth. The poor are getting poorer, the rich are getting richer. And you've seen that one close friend of the Prime Minister, who we call Gautam Bhai, basically has seen his wealth explode over the last 8 years. His generosity in providing the Prime Minister planes for his election campaign, flying him in his private plane to his swearing in, has been amply rewarded by this government. And anywhere you look now, it is owned by Gautam Bhai. You may not know enough about this because even the media is now being bought by Gautam Bhai. NDTV is now in their hands. All right? So, essentially, what we are seeing is one person, two persons dominating even within industry and cornering our assets, our airports, our ports. Soon, the Container Corporation of India will be sold to them, such that in every corner, you will not be able to escape the hold and the monopoly that these crony capitalists will exercise over everything else. Given this, we have to inform the public that this is what is going on in this country. And that is why the Haath Se Haath Jodo campaign is being launched. And when we go, we will be able to convey to the people what Rahul Gandhi has heard all along the Accra route. Farmers came to him and said, what is happening? What happened to that promise of doubling farmers' income? In reality, agricultural incomes have fallen. Farmers are earning more as labor rather than from agriculture, and agricultural prices have not kept up. And for that matter, we saw those 3 black farm laws that were brought out without consultation, without thinking about the impact on farmers. And we saw hundreds of farmers dying in that protest. And only after that did the Prime Minister backtrack. So basically, we are seeing a situation where farmers are hurting. What about you? Our Youth Congress President is here. Go and talk to the youth, Joel, and you will see that people are yearning for jobs. The Prime Minister, in his campaign speeches in 2014, promised that every youth who is eligible will get a job. That is 2 crores a year jobs were promised. Nothing like that has happened. They used to attack the UPA because of jobless growth. Growth was declining, but growth was happening. India's best decade in recent decades was under the UPA. But what is happening under the BJP? Under Prime Minister Modi, you have job loss growth. The number of youths are growing, And you're seeing that jobs are being lost. Formal jobs are being lost. And what you see instead is that the informal sector is also hurting. Demonetization was a devastating blow to the informal economy, to micro, small, and medium enterprises. And as a result, what has happened? You are seeing today that a lot more imports are coming from where? From China. The same country with which we are which we are having a conflict with in eastern Ladakh, against which the government promised decisive action. What has the government delivered? It banned a few apps like TikTok, but apart from that, has neither been able to push the Chinese back out of our territory. In fact, the government is in denial. The Prime Minister said, "Koi ghusa nahi." Okay? When there are news reports that are coming out, even today I can show you, there's a report in the Hindu which says that many of the areas which we used to patrol earlier, we are not able to patrol, where our Indian shepherds used to graze their cattle, we're not able to go there anymore. And the foreign secretary, foreign minister, everyone says we are negotiating to restore the status quo. If the Prime Minister says nothing has been disturbed, what status quo are you trying to restore? Please, we need the truth. And we need strong action against the Chinese. We need to ensure that we do not, at one level, talk against them, at other level, keep buying things from them. This is what has happened under this government. $100 billion worth of import from China. We've crossed that amount, and that is the first time ever in history that we're crossing that level of imports from China. Why are these imports going up? Because our micro, small, and medium enterprises, our small-scale businesses that used to provide these inputs to our factories and to our companies are out of business. Out of business because of badly implemented GST, out of business because of demonetization, out of business because the Modi government did not provide them the help that they needed at a crucial time, especially during and after the lockdowns. So this is the situation we're facing. That's why $100 billion worth of imports from China. Then we're seeing, during the lockdown you saw, the migrants marching back from their home or from their places of work, walking 1,000 kilometers to their homes. Today, we're seeing that in the suicide statistics, in 2021, this is from the Ministry of Home, 1.64 lakh people committed suicide. The maximum were daily wage earners, more than 42,000. All right? So what is going on? The poorest of the people in this country are hurting. Nobody is paying attention to them. Why? Because this government knows that the more people are hurting, the more you can create resentment and division and conflict, and the more you can divert them by talking about religious issues and other, getting them to fight against fellow Indians. Instead of working towards healing, you're working towards dividing. And that is what Rahul Gandhi's mission is, to counter that divisive movement. And we are going to go ahead, and in every village, we are going to basically say, look, it does not matter what your gender is, what your caste is, what your religion is, what your profession is, what your language is. We are going to hold hands with you, we are going to embrace you, and we are going to make the principles of unity and integrity, the word fraternity that is in the preamble of our Constitution, which means brotherhood and sisterhood, where we're all together as fellow Indians, we're going to promote that message. Further, we want to mention to you that many other things have gone worse. The number of crimes against women under the BJP government has worsened. The farmer suicides have worsened. If you're saying where is the data, the government is no longer collecting data on each of these issues. Wherever you find that the data is negative, instead of correcting the problem, they will hide the evidence. That is the problem with this government. And in the process, you have seen international agencies. Oxfam's inequality report is one. But there is another called the Global Hunger Index, which shows that in this country, people are now worse off than poorer countries like Bangladesh. We're worse off than Pakistan. Under whom? Prime Minister Modi, 8 years of Prime Minister Modi, and in the 21st century, we see that children are still subject to wasting and stunting. Their futures are being compromised because there is no adequate nutrition that they are receiving. When we talk about nutrition, the debates will go on whether eggs should be included in the midday meal or not, rather than a pure vegetarian diet. We want our children to get nutritious meals, and that should be our main aim. Finally, let me just say that every other issue, if you were to look at caste atrocities on Dalits, they have worsened. The environment is facing a much worse situation under this government, and you all only have to go to Joshimath in Uttarakhand to see that poor people, middle class people are being forced to leave their homes. Our homes are our biggest assets. We are being forced to leave their homes because the ground is collapsing under them. There is subsidence happening. Why? Because of unbridled development, uncontrolled development, without paying attention to ecology. This is an issue that is very important everywhere in the country, and we are going to go and talk to the people of India. We are going to hold hands with them in this Haath Se Haath Jodo campaign, and we are going to spread the message of love, of healing, of unity, and we will make sure that people's eyes are opened to the failures of the BJP government, that the propaganda is punctured and people understand the reality, and that they embrace us once again in the mission to unite India and to transform India's future and that of our youth by working together with the Congress in the years ahead. Thank you. Ready for questions, please?
Sir, what is your say on the Madai?
I am here as an AICC spokesperson authorized to speak only on the Haath Se Haath Jodo campaign. So I will stick to that particular issue. On this question, on this issue, please, any questions that you might have.
BJP is hopeful to get 324 plus seats in the Lok Sabha election. What do you think, whether they will fall or they will rise?
As the Haath Se Haath Jodo campaign goes and does its work, as people's eyes are opened to the reality of the BJP's failures, you will not get 324, you will not get 224, you may get 124 by because of various strengths in certain areas. However, I think people have given them 5-8 years and they have not delivered. Why will people re-elect a government that has not delivered? So that is why this government is paying so much attention to propaganda. That is why they're trying to impose censorship on across the board, control the media, because they don't want the truth to come out. When we in the Congress go back to our roots, to the yatras, to the marches like those of Mahatma Gandhi to Dandi, we will be able to connect with the public and expose the reality. And we will not just talk about their failures, we will also give them hope about the future. So you can ask the BJP, whoever is making those calculations, to stop dreaming.
So, but
Reality, they will wake up to the reality in 2020.
So, but when you talk about your yatra, what are the issues that you would like to surface in kind of goals? Because this will be in Goa also.
Yes, of course.
So what are the issues? Because for us, for goals, Mother is an important issue. And if you don't highlight this issue, then what is the other issue there for you?
Goans are suffering from inflation and prices. Goans are suffering from
sir,
job
the
loss.
major-
Goans are suffering from environmental issues.
Sir, actually,
Are these
environment-
issues? Are these not issues of Goa? They
Sir,
are issues
actually,
of Goa.
environment, main
These
issues are environment and related to the Madai. There is a coal issue.
So at the moment, we are
The Goan leadership will work with you and will.
But actually,
Central is on the bigger issues facing the country. On
But
jobs,
what's the use
on
of
inflation,
Sir, we
on
Sir, what's
peace
the
and
use of
peace and harmony? Is there peace and harmony here? Is there division here?
If we don't
But
work,
actually-
what will be the peace and harmony?
सर नहीं, अगर आप हाथ से हाथ जोड़े यात्रा गोवा में कर रहे हो तो व्हाट्स कर्नाटक एंड गोवा
So why are
कांग्रेस
you
डूइंग?
what is
I am focusing-
And actually
I'm
right
focusing on
now
the
in
themes.
Goa, right now in Goa there has
I'm focusing on the themes of UK Yatra.
So you want to reply for
See,
me?
I think let's not divert the topic.
It's
No, actually, I mean, there is a very good
Goa
point.
Congress-
reply
no,
from you.
listen.
But
On
because
Goa,
you want to reply from
Goa Congress stand, we have made it very clear. In fact, I have spoken, our CNP has spoken. Today, this press conference is about Haath Se Haath Jodo Abhiyan, okay, which we are launching from tomorrow. And of course, Madai being the core issue right now, in our charge sheet, we have made against the Modi government, we are going to add about Madai also, that how in these last 10 years, this government has, in fact, yesterday the Chief Minister of Karnataka also is on record saying that Gojja Mukhyamantri काय नाम. So he has actually ridiculed him. So that we are
Because of that,
Amit,
they are
put Congress on the
asking-
statement. Amit, there is statement of All India Congress Committee, Surjewala. If Congress government will remark, if Congress government will remark arrest 3,000 crores exclusively for the Madai project, while arrest 500 crore, 5,000 crores will be released in the first cabinet meeting.
It's okay. Satina,
Yeah, let him.
Main issue. एकच इशू आशिल्लो तुम्ही हात से हात जोडो यात्रा आसा विथ काँग्रेस सिनियर लिडरशिप म्हादयचो इशू तुम्ही हात से हात जोडो यात्रेत घेतलो.
See, look here. आता आमच्या जे गोवाला AICC त्यांनी सांगले व्हॉट इज द मिनिंग ऑफ हात ते हात जोड. जेन्ना आमी भोंवतात and all India आमी issues काढल्या गोंयचे काढले. For us, Maday and coal is very important. Now our session will start in the parliament. I will raise in this. I will try to meet the minister concerned and bring to their notice how Goa is going to suffer in future. So don't think we have closed our eyes. But what my colleague is saying, he has come from all India, the issues which are there, including Goa. In addition, what issues there are, we are elected representatives of Goa, we will take them up.
साधी बात जर आमका उदकच मेळाक ना तर हे इशू घेऊन किती फायदो.
Uda has gone Gale. Hold on, you ask.
No,
Hold on. देखून आम्ही issue raise करतले. We'll take up with the concerned ministries and we'll fight for them. Don't think we are going to keep quiet. But hold on, except for Maday. The coal issue I had already raised in the house. I have written letters. Now this Maday was in the court. Now as DPR has come, it is our duty to take it up again.
Your central leader will not comment on Maday.
See, look here.
Not important.
See, there are various issues concerning India. We have got also local problems. We will bring to their notice. And they may take less days, but then they cannot antagonize all others. So we are here elected representatives, giving to them the state to take up the issues of Goa.
So what I am trying to say is that जसं तू उलयतालो तुमचे सेंट्रल लीडर्स वेर इट इज इन कर्नाटक बीजेपी जावं काँग्रेस जावं हे सगळे कितें उलयता तुम्ही हिंगा देखून उलयता सो वी ऑल्सो क्लियरिंग अबाउट दिस इशू नो बाबा तुम्ही ते दिनासान आमकां सांगता हे जावचें ना ते जावचें ना आमी फुड्यान येतले सो आमचें कितें म्हणटा मनीस
See,
कोणें जावं ते बीजेपी
Amka Indonesia, we know how the ecology will be affected and destroyed if this is done. So we'll bring to the notice, this government has failed. It was in the court, they knew this was happening. Why they didn't open the eyes on time to say that this doesn't happen? So it's a court issue, yes.
Sadhvin sir, but surely you realize that Congress in Karnataka is going to be divided, and how is it going to beat the Congress in Goa? They are two same issue, and you are not together on it.
See, all of us are selfish. All of us look for their future. So we are here to safeguard the interests of Goa. We'll bring to their notice. Or if today they are shouting, tomorrow we'll make sure that they only speak, they don't shout.
Which
Because
Goan is
we are
going to
having-
hold-
we are
which
pushing-
Goan is going to hold hands with the Congress on this subject of the Madai?
Who is going to hold
Which
it?
Goan is going to hold hands with the Congress on the subject of Madai?
Which Goa?
Yes.
All Goans are united as far as Mother is concerned, because it is not of one or two people. It is the issue of Goa. So that's why wherever we go, keeping politics aside, we say let us all fight for saving our state.
But you're not taking the fight to Karnataka, okay? You're only fighting in Goa, whereas
Yes.
the fight is in Karnataka.
Fight is not in Karnataka.
Of course it is.
Fight is in Goa in the sense we have our interest. The water is coming from there. Water is coming from there. And I have said last time, we don't mind giving water for drinking. No agriculture has increased anywhere. Why do you want to divert for irrigation?
आता सर तुम्ही म्हणता की हात से हात जोडो होपफुल इंडियन करतले सो मादईच्या विषयाचेर गोवा काँग्रेस कर्नाटका काँग्रेसी बरोबर हात से हात जोडो करून सेम हे करून अंडरस्टँड करून मादई आमकां जाय म्हणून सांगतले काय म्हणटा
आम सांगतोले ताका
तुम्ही सांगताले पण
पर एक एक
As far as Madai is concerned, it is a center stage issue for Goa Congress. There will be no compromise, and any movement that Goa Congress will do, Madai will be the center point of that issue. So you be rest assured, we are not going to compromise as far as Madai is concerned, even for 1%.
नाही आमका
It is our primary. As far as तुम्ही आता तू आता जो प्रश्न विचारू शकता की कर्नाटका काँग्रेस गोवा काँग्रेस कर्नाटकाचे लोक डेफिनेटली आपलो इंटरेस्ट पळयतले आमचे गोयच्या लोकांनी आमचो इंटरेस्ट पळोवपाचो गोवा काँग्रेस आमी वचून तांचो इंटरेस्ट पळोवचे ना आमी जी गोवा काँग्रेस आसा आमी आमचो गोयचो इंटरेस्ट पळयतले आनी आमी म्हादई खातीर जो आमी ऑलरेडी मुवमेंट चालू केला हो सुद्धा जो आमचो प्रोग्राम आमी आता जो लॉन्च केला ताचे बरोबर टॅग करून म्हादई विल बी अवर मेन इशू की इशू बिफोर गोइंग टू द पीपल
आयज आमचे एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट आसा राजेंद्र केतकर जावं मॅडम निर्मला सावंत जावं ह्या सेइंग दॅट अवेअरनेस इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट
Yes, and that is what we are going to do. With this program, we are going everywhere with the Madai issue. Because awareness is important. गोंयकारांक awareness जावप important. तेच सांगले पण पळय कन्फ्युजन करपाची गरज ना. काँग्रेस पार्टीन गोंयान मादईचेर स्टँड क्रिस्टल क्लियर केला. There is no आमी तळ्यात की मळ्यात आमी खेळना. We are crystal clear as far as our
people are not aware, according to you. Everybody is agitated. Everybody in Goa is agitated. They are talking about Madai, and we being their leaders, will go ahead with them. Please project whatever their thoughts and ideas are there. Your environmental scientists, we also have there. So we have taken their guidance, but one issue is clear, that Congress in Goa will fight for Madai to any extent.
Why shouldn't Congress in Karnataka fight for Madai?
Sir, do you support this Goa Congress? Sir, do you support this Goa Congress on this issue?
Goa Congress is working on its issues. I'm here to talk about the national campaign.
Sir, will you support them?
I'm talking about the national campaign, the Haat Se Haat Jodo Yatra, and we are going to make sure that the people's concerns are addressed. And if people's concerns in different regions are somewhat different, the Congress will lend a ear and will lend a hand.
Sir, can you since you are talking about
What's your stand on you, Madai?
could you highlight our issues to the national leaders of our local importance? When we talk about Madai,
Congress, if you listen to Rahul Gandhi, he always talks about.
can you read the
Our
Rahul
MP
Gandhi
is already, our MP is he is central, he is our MP for the state of Goa from South Goa. He will
Allows for
light up
multiple
the
viewpoints, allows for debate and discussion, it is democratic, and therefore you will see that whenever concerns are there, they will be shared with the leaders.
Doctor, what's your stand on Madai?
Basically, I am not Karnataka in general. One thing is, Congress is so specific and particular. It protects all the interests of all the states. It will sort of moderation.
Sir, आप national
One thing. Second thing. Here not where the persons declare the policies, sir. Definitely, one does ask that you will take that to the High Command. Definitely, by this evening, we are sending your pain and your everything to the daily leadership of the Congress party. That's right.
No, because we are saying time and again, everybody is saying, in Karnataka, your Congress leaders are making statement, everywhere making statement. See, what statements they make, we don't know about it. But what I'm saying, you all are central leaders. You also at least put this in front of
what is your name? What is your name, brother?
Cancel.
Your name, Cancel. I belongs to Andhra Pradesh. And Telangana in between two states where the Karnataka, Krishna River is. My PCC president of Telangana told, why you are giving me water to the Andhra Pradesh? That is my area, but to Rayalaseema. I am telling that what is mine. So in between that, the leadership of the level of the nation, they sit and discuss some rules are there, regulations are there, some policies are there. So only one thing, some constitutional bodies are working on the water issues. Definitely what we can do at this junction, we are going to bring all these things to the High Command, like this. Please solve this problem as early as possible. That is, that much we can do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.